Good morning, afternoon or evening, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, on this smashing Sunday for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily cryptocurrency market update. And if you are new around here and finding yourself on my channel for the first time today, don't forget to check out that subscribe button because we drop an update just like this one around 1 PM UK time every single day to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets. And it has been a jam-packed week for the cryptocurrency space. We have seen all kinds of things like Solana ETF filings, updates on the Ethereum ETFs, legal clarity, legal battles continue with consensus in the SEC, Coinbase suing the SEC, so on and so forth. And of course, on the back end of last week, or the week that we're currently in and going into the next one, we did, of course, see some clarity in regards to the Binance case and BNB token being classified as a non-security. On the back end of this, RobinHood have taken this as a kind of green light for more crypto assets and actually relisted Solana, of course, knowing, they don't want to miss out on the fees that they can generate. RobinHood's a stock that we have called out as a bullish stock. Very interesting that they also bought a cryptocurrency exchange, kind of giving us that compounding reason to be bullish on the cryptocurrency space. If it's bullish, it's now having a hand in crypto. There's likely going to be a real demand for crypto. We can derive, and this is what we do here on the channel, and this is why the channel is very special. We often look at things elsewhere to confirm where the cryptocurrency space is going, and we've been doing a spectacular job of that, and we've continued to reiterate that this is just a pullback in what is a broader uptrend, and we will be right within time. It's always funny that the kind of bears who have been wrong for so long now always come back on any kind of pullback, kind of trying to double down on their bearish outtake. I mean, even Capo has capitulated at this point. So we have a lot to get into in this video. We're going to be starting things off with a clip of Peter Thiel. And why do I want to do this? Well, because he gives a very interesting take on Bitcoin and the fact that BlackRock have kind of taken over it in a way. And I've always called out the Bitcoin maxis for the BS kind of freedom preaching properties that they have. I do not think Bitcoin is the road to freedom, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I think it's too good to be true. I think there are parallels between how we ended up with a central bank in regards to they first put forward the Aldrich bill, which is the original bill drafted at Jekyll Island. It didn't get through because of Wall Street's involvement, and there was concerns about that. Then they just passed it through the opposition and said, okay, well, we're going to take power away from Wall Street and we're going to sort of give it to the government and the people. Of course, it didn't quite work out like that because the same people were behind both bills. And I think if you look at the kind of deliberate destruction of the fiat systems as they currently are, it's by design. It's to impoverish people. What they want is a ruling class and people like me and you, the everybody else. It's a form of communism that they're trying to sort of implement. And I think Bitcoin and its kind of nature is really too good to be true. And I think there's a more kind of perhaps nefarious plot behind the whole thing. And we've said that for a long time, but even Peter Thiel is calling that out. The hypocrisy with the kind of Bitcoin maxis that preach freedom is, I don't even think they believe in what they're saying. I think they've just built careers off it. And ultimately all they care about is the price going up. And you can say, okay, well, they derive that from their kind of reasoning behind it. But he has a really interesting take that I want to explore to start the video off. Then we're going to be talking about the fact that BlackRock has bought another $83 million worth of Bitcoin just the other day, whilst retail's largely been scared. Yesterday, we had further clarity in regards to blockchain tokens are not investment contracts on the secondary market. Robinhood on the back end of this relisted Solana. Solana, obviously, ETF will highlight the Sol BTC chart. Gives us broader confidence on the markets. We're going to be talking also about crypto to see higher tax rules starting in 2026. This comes on the back end of the Treasury Department on Friday, requiring many platforms to report information about their users. So if they're planning on taxing it more, it means they're planning on allowing this industry to succeed, and then we'll look at the week ahead. So as always, guys, we always have a jam-packed one for you every single day. So do check out that subscribe button, a like and a comment whilst you're down there is always appreciated. Let's start things off with Peter Thiel talking about Bitcoin.
Are you still convinced?
I think it's gotten partially unlocked with the Bitcoin ETF, but then probably the part where I'm less convinced of is this question of the sort of ideological founding vision of Bitcoin or these cryptocurrencies as sort of a cypherpunk, crypto-anarchist, libertarian, anti-centralized government thing. This is always the line.
Isn't that what got you interested in the first place?
That's what I thought was terrific about it. And then the question is, does it really work that way, or has that thread somehow gotten lost? And so when people in the FBI tell me that they'd much rather have criminals use Bitcoin than $100 bills, it suggests that maybe it's not quite working the way it was supposed to.
Have you sold any of your Bitcoin?
I still hold some. There are all these ways I didn't buy as much as I should have, and I'm not sure it's going to go up that dramatically from here.
From here?
Yeah, I think we got the ETF edition, and I don't know who else buys it quickly from here.
Some interesting investment advice. That actually surprised me because I don't think I've heard you. I thought you were still all in.
I still have a small position. It probably still can go up some, but it's going to be a volatile, bumpy ride. And I had a dual reason. One was this sort of ideological, decentralized future of computing world that I really do believe in, really believe would be better. And it seemed like the perfect vehicle for that for such a long time. And I am just much less convinced of that. And so
Interesting.
So maybe Larry Fink with the BlackRock ETF surrendered to the forces, the anti-ESG forces, or maybe it's more like Bitcoin's been co-opted by them, and I worry it was more the latter.
It's more like Bitcoin's been co-opted by them. I think if Bitcoin wasn't their plan and was any real threat to the kind of banking system as we know it, they would have stopped it in its tracks whilst it was a small monster. You don't let a monster get big, certainly if you thought it was any real threat. People say, okay, well, how could they do that? Well, if the United States came out and put strict laws around Bitcoin, if they banned the mining of it, like what we saw in China, and people say, oh, well, it didn't work. It did in China. There's a number of things they could do to, of course, making things illegal doesn't stop. I mean, look at the war on drugs is one of the biggest lost wars in the world. You only have to go to any city in the UK and it is debaucherous what's going on. You can't go anywhere without, seeing just insanity, a sad state of humanity. But they could have definitely, I think if Bitcoin was a threat to their system and their power, they would have got rid of it by now. They'd have squashed it. And that ultimately leads me to be very suspicious. I think the whole thing is very suspicious. I could see a future, and we've done previous videos on this, where BlackRock potentially fork Bitcoin, probably inciting ESG claims and, why don't we move to a more beneficial, from an environmental friendly and kind of, more efficient system that, we can track on a greater degree and actually use as a currency. You could see something like that come in. That was one of Satoshi's wishes in regards to that not happening. Let's move on from that rather cheery note. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. So while you were scared, BlackRock bought another $83 million. Now, they've done this with their own personal funds and, of course, client money throughout this whole dip. Interestingly, on June the 19th, 2024, so yesterday, Judge Amy Berman Jackson has created legal precedent to rule that blockchain tokens are not investment contracts. So we've seen this with XRP. We've now seen this with BNB. We're seeing Solana filings. Now RobinHood relists Solana. For the love of goodness. What's wrong with you? I'm not sure what he's ranting about there. Of course, we know that there's been 2 Sol ETFs filed now, 21 shares and VanEck. This is the Sol BTC chart. We ultimately think that Solana is going to about $2,000. That's about a 10x from where it is. We've looked at other analysts who have agreed fundamentally, and we've obviously, by talking about inflows from ETFs, we're obviously looking at this technically. And of course, the Sol BTC chart looks bullish. This is bullish for the entire space because Solana isn't going to be doing well in a context where Bitcoin is not, and the broader market isn't. It also confirms, what we're looking at in regards to our crypto index funds. These are all going to play out. Our target for the total 2, which is everything excluding Bitcoin, will play out. Our targets for the dollar. We're just waiting for the sort of green light, if you will. And I think that's all going to come on the back end of the Dixie, which is yet to take a direction. On the short term, I don't think it's too far ahead. I think you're going to see Japanese sort of yield inversion or currency controls. They're very smart at doing things like that. And I think, we've got a lot coming on that we won't cover here today. But the Solana news is big. Also talking about Robinhood, so we've got a lot of stage 2 stocks that we consistently watch, some doing significantly better than others, but one of them was, so this is Robinhood that's done very well for us. Spotify that did very well for us. This is Robinhood. Robinhood we're very bullish on. And I think there's going to be a crypto element there, certainly with them buying Bitstamp. It's very interesting. Or was it Bitstamp? Who was it? It was one of them, one of the big exchanges. I think this is going to do very well, along with a number of other cryptocurrency stocks. So just to sort of talk a little bit more about this is a chart that we're just waiting to play out. And I think there's going to be that real green light coming for this industry in the very near future. Let's talk a little bit about taxes. Boo! But crypto to see tighter tax rules starting in 2026. Isn't that interesting? I think a lot of people will be, that might line where you should be taking profits, or just before then, but in the 2026 year. So the Biden administration took a long-delayed step against tax evasion in the cryptocurrency market, though it left some work unfinished amid fierce lobbying by companies like Coinbase. The Treasury Department adopts a final rule on Friday, so this Friday, requiring many cryptocurrency platforms to report information about their users to the Internal Revenue Service. Officials say the measures should deter tax evasion by making it clear to would-be miscreants that the IRS knows how much they owe. It will also help law-abiding crypto investors by giving them a simple 1099 for each year. So they are looking to, it says investors in the digital asset and the IRS will have better access to documents they need to easily file for and review tax returns. This is from Aaron Dine from the Treasury. The final regulations will help taxpayers more easily pay taxes owed under current law while reducing tax evasion by wealthy investors. So the fact that the Treasury are doing this means that they think this industry is going to succeed and they ultimately want to cut of it. The last thing really for me to round things up on is with the week ahead, because the week ahead is going to be a heavy economic one. Remember, we're waiting for the dollar to play out. We need that dollar weakness. That's going to be a part of the Bitcoin story. That's going to come and hopefully align with global liquidity, Bitcoin 4-year cycle, PMI cycles, so on and so forth. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Raoul, I think he's a bit of a ding-dong. I think his banana zone kind of analogy is, I think he's right on that. So Tuesday, we've got Royal Bank of Australia meeting. We've got Euro CPI. We've got Fed Chair speaking. So it's going to be a busy one. We've got US ISMs, which we'll be watching, expected to rise. So we're seeing, we've looked at this previously. So Bitcoin very much follows this. Of course, dollar's an element of this, so on and so forth. There's no other channels out there that give you this kind of information in a quick hit. So PMI is going to be an interesting one on Monday. Then Tuesday, we've just discussed. Wednesday, we've got US ADPs, we've got US initial jobless claims, US ISM PMIs again. And then we've got US EI crude oil inventories and FOMC minutes. Policy left unchanged from the last meeting. They'll talk about it. Then we've got US Independence Day. We've got UK construction PMIs. Then Friday, we've got US non-farm payroll, which is going to be the big one. So it is going to be a jam-packed week, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep you up to date with it day in, day out, as we always do here on the channel. If you've enjoyed this content, a like is always greatly appreciated. So is a comment. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you all in the next.